Yeah, I used to be a real jerk, but now I'm a people guy.
You're listening to the Deep Gripping Reality Podcast, the show that gives you leadership lessons and insights from the cutting edge of digital marketing. Hosted by Stephen J. Adelman. It's about to get deep.
So today I wanted to talk a little bit about SEO, search engine optimization, for those who don't speak geek like me. And I wanted to talk specifically about ways that you can enhance the content on your website to basically rank higher in Google. Google's all about providing the best possible experience, especially with the December Core 2020 update to the algorithm. So making sure that your users have the best experience is crucial. And if you can have very similar content to a competitor, but if they have what Google considers to be more valuable content, or their page loads a little faster, the time on the page is longer, then there's a really good chance that you are going to get ranked lower than them. So I wanted to talk about something else that I brought up too a few days ago, or maybe it was last week or the last podcast, I'm not sure, but it was user-generated content, UGC as we call it in the digital marketing world. UGC is insanely valuable because it's social proof. So what is UGC? User-generated content is things like if somebody does a video with your product, or somebody does a testimonial, or even better, somebody does a video testimonial, or images, or anything like that. If people are creating user-generated content, or if you have a guest blogger or a guest on your podcast, whatever, if they're helping you promote it, resharing that content, or using those testimonials in a way to promote your website is a fantastic way to really boost your SEO. So I'm not just talking about having a testimonials page. Yeah, that's a good idea. And you definitely should, but I'm talking about where to get those testimonials, and then I'm talking about how to take them one step further. So, a lot of people think, okay, well, people aren't submitting testimonials to my website. Well, obviously, because unless you're specifically soliciting them, most people don't take the time to do that. You see, a testimonial is like, it's the modern word of mouth, right? The better your experience, the more likely you are to say something good. If you think about it, you usually only leave reviews on products in two cases. If you are insanely happy with the product or service, or if you're insanely unhappy, right? And bad mouth. So bad mouthing the product is a major part of it. It goes farther than the positive. And so people are always asking, how do you bury bad reviews on Google? Well, you reach out and you respond and you apologize and you offer to fix the problem. And then, because you can't take that review off, so they have to go in and do it themselves. So why do I bring up Google? Because Google is where you can get those testimonials. You can copy the testimonials off of Google and paste them into your website. Or some places actually offer different widgets and things that you can actually use to just embed that in your website. So filling out your testimonials page with Facebook testimonials and reviews, and Google reviews, and Amazon reviews, especially if they talk about customer service. And if they give their first name and a last initial and a city, that's fine, because then you can repurpose that content to make Google ads or Facebook ads or anything like that. But on your website, not only is that going to bulk out your testimonials page a little bit more, but then websites are usually set up in one of two ways. They'll either have all the testimonials listed out on one page, or they'll have little abstracts essentially that's like a small quote with the beginning of the testimonial and then read more. And you click on it and it gives the fuller testimonial. A common mistake is that people forget to add a call to action on that second page, on the full testimonial page. They'll forget to add a call of action, or they'll forget to do a meta description and title tag. And those are critical. Those are very important. If you think about it, a meta description and a title tag on a website, on any web page, is basically your elevator pitch. It's your differentiator. It's basically the reason that people are going to click through. And click-through rate is a big part of what pushes your organic ranking on Google as well. One of the things that I specialize in and that I'm a big fan of is not paying for attention. I'm about building relationships for real, okay? I'm about making sure that you are having the most engaging content, about building up organic growth as opposed to having to pay for it. Yes, paying for it will get you in front of more eyeballs, and every content or every social media platform is pay to play essentially, because that's how they make their money. It's a free, you don't have to pay to get on the service, but that's how they make their money. So having the most engaging content possible and providing real value in that is the easiest possible way to basically build up your organic SEO. So now what I've talked about so far, to kind of quickly recap here, is if you feel like you don't have enough testimonials on your website, go steal some of your own. You can get them from Google My Business, from your Google My Business, and if you have a business and don't have your Google My Business, claim it. It's the lowest hanging fruit SEO out there. It's just awesome. So claim your Google My Business, and we can talk about that at another point if you want to as well. But then going one step further than that, and this is huge too, getting it from other social platforms, Facebook. If you have, YouTube reviews, people leave reviews on YouTube in the form of comments all the time. Steal that, do a screenshot of it, and then crop that so it's the right size for other platforms, and then share that as content on other platforms. And make sure that that share has a link back to your website. Because here's what a lot of people don't realize about SEO. SEO doesn't stop at your website, okay? The best SEO is off your website. You see, I lovingly refer to it as link juice. When you share an image, and say you're on Facebook and you create a post through the publishing tools, and it has an image, and when you click on the image, it just goes to a bigger image, right? Well, no, that's because Facebook wants to keep people on their platform. But you can actually use the publishing tools to make it so when you click on that image, it'll actually go back to the website, to your website. And when you look at your Google Analytics, it'll show you that there's a spot for social, that there's organic, that there's paid, and there's referral. Those are kind of the big four, right? The legs of the table, if you will. And so if one of those legs is short, the whole thing is kind of screwy. So it's all fits into your SEO. And if you have a podcast, now I'm breaking my own rule here. I'm a big fan of practicing what I preach. If you have a podcast, you should have a website for it, okay? Because it's very easy to embed your podcast in that, and then you have streaming content that people can click on and listen through and engage with, and it's keeps them on the page longer, and Google sees that as valuable. And then you can transcribe your entire podcast, and then you have textual content, full of keyword content, and you can cross-link to your guests or whatever. So there's a lot of different ways you can build out your content. Now, I said at the beginning of this that I was going to tell you another way to use testimonials throughout your website, not just on a page. So if you have a testimonial about a specific service that your business offers, that testimonial needs to live in block quotes somewhere on the page that talks about that service. It's social proof. So ideally, you'd like it above the fold or right at the fold. And what do I mean by that? If you're on desktop, when you have to scroll down, that's considered above the fold. Or that's below the fold is when you scroll down. Anything that you see when you first log onto the page, that's above the fold. And that's very valuable real estate, because people are going to determine within the first few seconds of seeing what comes up above the fold and how fast it does, literally 3 seconds, whether or not they like your site and whether or not they're going to stay on it. So having some kind of a social proof, maybe with a link back to the testimonial page that breaks down the full testimonials, or whatever the call to action is, it's incredibly valuable, because then it's a real person. Even though, I mean, it could be Jane Smith. Now, I'm not saying make up names. Don't do that. But what I'm saying is, even though this person doesn't know this other person, the fact that there's a quote from somebody there that's a reliable, happy customer subconsciously tickles the social proof of, ooh, I want to be happy, right? You're talking to the pain point without going negative. It's huge. So that's a really easy way to build out that part of your SEO, is to take sometimes 2 testimonials. And you see this a lot on websites, except they make the mistake of they only do it on their homepage. Like, I've seen websites where they put like 5 testimonials on their homepage and then only on their testimonials section of their website. Well, I think that if you have products or services, every page of your website should totally have it. Should totally have at least one. Well, I would say one. Just one testimonial if you can. And it doesn't have to be a huge thing. It doesn't have to be a massive quote. Remember, 3 or 4 lines of text is what's best, because people get subconscious reader fatigue, which is stupid, but it's true. We're all smart monkeys, let's be honest. But having that social proof is a big deal. And then every single page you want to have a call to action. Now, if that's download a demo, reach out, consult with me, talk to me, whatever, you want to have that call to action on those pages. Really valuable stuff, really smart stuff. And I'm a big fan of embedding YouTube videos on your website. YouTube's GA4 is the latest version of Google Analytics, and it's going to be able to track how much time is watched both on your YouTube channel. It'll track that time to the video on your YouTube channel, but also on your homepage or on the page. So it's actually giving you kind of double benefits. And while I'm on that, I'm going to segue here for YouTube content. People like to know about YouTube tips and tricks, so I'm going to give this one out. This is a very underutilized but super easy and super powerful thing for YouTube. The YouTube algorithm absolutely loves it when you put timestamps. So like if you cover a lot of subjects on a video, if you put a timestamp of when those subjects are covered in the description, YouTube loves that because it's cross-links to the same video technically. So you're getting essentially two clicks for the same thing. And it keeps people on there because they can jump to the attention. So again, you're providing valuable content and you're showing the YouTube algorithm, which is in essence just a leg of the Google algorithm, but you're showing them that you care about your YouTube viewer experience. So it's a really easy way to really kind of build out a higher click-through rate and feed the YouTube algorithm what it likes. And so that's super helpful. I do the same kind of thing when I'm writing blogs for clients or even for the company I work for, except I use anchored text on blogs. So like if it's a super long blog, like say 5,000 words or something, 3 to 5,000 words, I'll break down the subjects, and have anchor text to it at the beginning. And I call it, quick links. So I'll say, for your convenience, this blog comes equipped with, or this article, always called an article, not a blog. This article is equipped with quick links for your convenience or whatever. And then you list out the main H2s, the main headers, or H3s, and then you can quick link to it. So it'll scroll down to that part of the page. So it's really helpful stuff. And again, it's all just kind of looking at it from a user experience and thinking to yourself, what would I like to see? Not like what information do I want to give them, but what information do they want from me? And how can I provide that? And so again, user experience is gold. I mean, if you've been playing along and you've been playing a drinking game, every time I said user experience, you could take a swig and you'd probably be wasted by now. But the ultimate experience is what matters most on all these platforms, not just on your website for SEO, but on TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. It's all about the user experience. It's all about having as much fun as humanly possible. So I was asked in the live stream of this where the microphone is, because usually I use a filter that has a microphone. And honestly, I was just in a hurry. I wanted to go live and talk about SEO, so I didn't think about it. But next time, since you like it, I'll throw it on there. But thank you so much for joining in and for listening into this. And if you want tips and tricks like this, more tips and tricks like this, please do me a favor. Leave a like, leave a comment on this video, but also check out the Deep Gripping Reality podcast. It can be found on anchor.fm/TDGR, or if you just search for the Deep Gripping Reality on any of the major podcast platforms. I do new episodes the first Tuesday, well, every Tuesday, bright and early in the morning. So feel free to check it out. You never know what you're going to get. Sometimes it's digital marketing, sometimes it's social media, sometimes it's SEO, sometimes it's leadership tips and tricks. And I actually have somebody here who said that they took notes on this. I get that a lot. I should probably start every episode with take notes. But I am going to post this to Instagram soon, IGTV. So if you missed anything, you'll be able to see it there. Thank you so much for joining me. And actually, if you subscribe to the podcast, it'll probably end up on the show as well. So until next time, thanks for joining me, and dig deep, my friends.
Check out the Deep Gripping Reality Podcast, your place for digital marketing tips, tricks, hacks, personal sales strategies, and more, all on major platforms.